The Jealous Friend. When I was young, I had a friend named Sam. Sam was smart. Sam was strong. Sam was good at almost everything he did. It always seemed so easy for him. At school, he always won all the races. He was always the first to cross the finish line, smiling, while everyone else clapped for him. He always got the best grades in every class. Whenever the teacher gave back our test papers, Sam's name was at the top with a big red A+ written beside it. Everyone liked Sam. Teachers praised him all the time. They would say things like, "Look at Sam's work, everyone. This is what you should aim for." Friends liked being around him too. He was funny, smart, and good. At sports, it felt like he could do anything, and he made it look easy. I used to watch him and feel something heavy inside me. It was not happiness. It was not pride for my friend. It was jealousy. I wanted so badly to be like Sam. But no matter how hard I looked at myself, I knew the truth. I was not as fast as him. I was not as smart as him. I was just me, an ordinary boy standing in the background, while Sam shined in the spotlight. I tried to hide how I felt. I forced myself to smile when people praised him. I clapped when he won. I laughed when he joked. But deep inside, I wasn't happy. I felt small and invisible. I felt like I was standing behind a glass wall, watching life happen for everyone else, while I stayed stuck. Every morning at school, I would see Sam walk into class. He walked with confidence. His shoulders were straight, and he always had a big smile on his face. When the teacher asked questions, Sam's hand shot up first. He always gave the right answers. When we played sports, he moved so fast and skillfully that everyone cheered for him. And me? I just sat in my seat, quietly watching him. My heart felt heavy like a stone. I kept asking myself, why is he so good at everything? Why can't I be like him? These questions filled my mind every single day. I didn't like feeling this way, but I couldn't stop it either. I thought about Sam all the time. I compared myself to him every chance I got. When he won a race, I thought about how slow I was. When he answered questions correctly, I thought about how often I stayed quiet, afraid to be wrong. I wished I could be faster, smarter, stronger. I wished I could be him. But no matter how much I wished, I was still just me. One day, I decided I would try harder. I told myself that if I worked harder, maybe I could catch up to Sam. I studied more. I ran faster during practice. I stayed up late reading books and woke up early to go over my homework. I practiced running every evening after school, sweating and panting until my legs hurt. I believed that if I pushed myself hard enough, I could beat him. I wanted people to notice me too. I wanted to hear the teachers say my name. I wanted friends to cheer for me. I thought if I tried hard enough, maybe things would finally change. But no matter what I did, Sam was still better. He still won every race. He still got the best grades. He still had many friends laughing around him. And me? I was still just the boy standing in the background. I started feeling hopeless. I began to dislike Sam. It wasn't fair, I thought. It wasn't fair that he was good at everything, while I struggled just to keep up. I didn't care about winning anymore. I just wanted him to lose. I didn't want him to always be first. I didn't want him to be the best. I stopped talking to him. When he tried to say hello, I turned away. When he smiled at me, I didn't smile back. When he laughed, I stayed silent. He noticed. One day he asked me, "Are you okay?" I quickly said, "I'm fine." But inside, I was not fine at all. My jealousy grew bigger every day. It was like a dark cloud following me everywhere I went. I couldn't escape it. It made me angry all the time. I stopped enjoying school. I stopped enjoying anything. All I thought about was Sam. Sam, and how he was always better. Then, one afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was sitting alone on a bench at school. I watched Sam from a distance. He was laughing and playing with his friends. They looked so happy. I felt invisible. No one noticed me sitting there. No one cared that I was alone. I thought about leaving, but my legs felt heavy, like they were made of stone. I looked at Sam and thought, why is his life so easy? Why does everything go his way? These thoughts weighed me down like a heavy bag I couldn't put down. Every day I carried these heavy thoughts everywhere I went. Then something strange happened. Sam left his group of friends. He walked toward me. I quickly looked down. I didn't want to talk to him. I hoped he would go away, but he didn't. He came and sat down next to me. At first, he was quiet. We just sat there in silence. Then he said, "I see you're not happy. What's wrong?" His voice was kind. His eyes were gentle. I felt something in my chest. Guilt. I had been so jealous of him. I had spent so long wishing bad things for him. I never once thought about how he felt. I wanted to stay silent, but the words came out. "You're better than me at everything," I said quietly. "You always win. Everyone likes you. I try, but I'm never as good as you." I felt weak saying it, but Sam didn't laugh. He didn't tease me. Instead, he sighed and looked down at the ground. He said something I never expected. "I'm not perfect," he said. "I have problems too. You see my victories. but you don't see my struggles. I study hard because I'm scared of failing. I run fast because I'm afraid of being left behind. I try to be strong because deep down, I'm scared of being weak. Every day, I push myself, but inside, I feel tired. Sometimes, I wish I could stop. I stared at him, shocked. I had never thought about his life that way. I always saw his smiles and his wins. I never thought he had fears. I never thought he had worries. For the first time, I saw Sam not as a winner, not as someone who had it easy, but as a real person. Someone who struggled too. Someone who was human, just like me. My jealousy started to shrink. It started to fade, but I didn't know what to say. I just sat there thinking. That night, when I lay in bed, I thought about everything Sam had said. I thought about all the times I had wished he would fail. I felt ashamed. Sam wasn't my enemy. He wasn't against me. He was just trying to do his best, just like I was. I realized something very important that night. I had to change. I had to stop comparing myself to Sam. I had to stop wasting my energy on jealousy. I needed to focus on my own path, my own journey. I didn't have to be like Sam. I just needed to be the best version of myself. The next morning at school, I made a decision. When I saw Sam, I smiled at him. For the first time in a long time, I gave him a real smile, not a fake one. He smiled back. It felt strange at first, but it also felt good. Sam didn't know it, but he had helped me. He had taught me something very important. Jealousy is a waste. Comparison is a trap. True success isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than the person you were yesterday. I started working hard again, but this time it was different. I wasn't working to beat Sam anymore. I was working to improve myself. I studied to learn, not to be the best. I practiced running to get faster than I was yesterday, not to be faster than someone else. Slowly, I began to change. I felt lighter. I felt freer. For the first time in my life, I wasn't jealous. I was just me. And for the first time, being just me was enough. From that day on, everything felt different. I woke up excited to learn, to run, to try. Not because I wanted to beat anyone, but because I wanted to grow. I stopped worrying about Sam's grades. I stopped watching him and comparing myself. I focused on myself. I focused on my small victories. And those small victories made me feel proud. Not because I was the best. Not because anyone clapped. But because I knew I was improving, step by step. Chapter 2. After that day when Sam and I talked, something inside me felt different. I still worked hard at school. I still studied. I still trained for races. But now I was doing it for a different reason. I was no longer working hard to beat Sam or to be better than someone else. I was working hard to be better than I was yesterday. It was a strange feeling at first. For so long, my heart had been filled with jealousy, anger, and sadness. Now it felt lighter. It felt free, like a heavy weight had been taken off my shoulders. At school, I began to notice things I had never seen before. I noticed that I was not the only one who struggled. Other students had their own problems too. Some were not good at math. Some were slow at running. Some found it hard to make friends. Before, I thought I was the only one who felt left out. I thought everyone else was better than me. But I was wrong. Everyone had their own fears. Everyone had their own hard days. I was not alone. Sam and I still talked, but something between us had changed too. I no longer looked at him with jealousy in my eyes. I no longer thought of him as someone I needed to beat. Instead, I saw him as a person, a real person with struggles just like me. I started asking him questions, something I had never dared to do before. "How do you study for tests?" I asked him one afternoon as we packed up our books. He smiled and showed me his study methods. He talked about how he made small notes and practiced a little every day instead of waiting until the night before a test. I listened carefully, taking in every word. "How do you run so fast?" I asked him another day after gym class. He shared his training routine with me. He told me about practicing short sprints every evening, about stretching his legs properly, and about believing in himself even when he was tired. Before, I would have been too proud or too jealous to ask these questions. But now, I truly wanted to learn, not to beat him, but to improve myself. And Sam was happy to help. As time passed, I started to see results. My grades got better. My running speed improved. But more important than the improvements was the feeling inside me. For the first time, I felt proud of myself. Not because I was better than someone else, but because I was better than before. That feeling was stronger and more beautiful than anything I had ever felt before. One day, during a school race, something unexpected happened. I stood at the starting line, feeling calm. I was not thinking about winning. I was not looking around to see where Sam was. I was just thinking about running my best race. When the whistle blew, I ran. Step by step, breath by breath, I pushed myself forward. I felt strong. I felt fast. When I reached the finish line and looked up, I realized something unbelievable. I had finished before Sam. For the first time ever, I had beaten him in a race. But the strange thing was, I did not feel the joy I had once imagined. I thought that if I ever beat Sam, I would feel powerful, happy, like a winner. But now, standing there, I felt something different. I felt happy, yes, but not because I had beaten Sam. I was happy because I had done my best. I had run with everything I had. That was what mattered. Sam walked over to me with a big smile. "You did great," he said warmly. His voice was full of kindness. There was no anger, no jealousy, no sadness, just happiness for me. At that moment, I understood something important. True success is not about being better than others. It is about being better than yesterday. That day, a lesson was written into my heart forever. After that race, something inside me changed forever. I no longer cared about winning or losing. I no longer cared about being the best in the room. I only cared about improving myself a little more every day. I studied with more focus. I trained with more joy. I was no longer carrying the heavy burden of jealousy or anger. I felt free. School started to feel different too. I enjoyed my classes. I laughed more. I talked to more people. I made new friends. It felt like the sun was shining brighter, even on cloudy days. Before, I had spent so much time feeling bad about myself. Now, I used that time to grow, to learn, to live. I was not the best student in school. I was not the fastest runner. But I was better than I used to be, and that was enough. Sam and I became even closer friends. We studied together. We trained together. We supported each other. He helped me when I struggled, and I helped him when he felt down. Before, I had seen Sam as my enemy. Now, I saw him as my teammate, my friend, and for the first time, I felt grateful to have him in my life. Without even knowing it, he had helped me change. He had taught me to be better. One day, while I was sitting in the school library, a younger student approached me. He looked nervous. He held his math book tightly in his hands. His face was red, and he could not meet my eyes. "Can you help me?" he asked quietly. "I'm not good at math." I looked at him and smiled. In that moment, I saw myself, the old me, who had been full of doubt and sadness. I knew exactly how he felt. "Of course," I said gently, "I'll teach you what I know." Helping him felt good. It reminded me of how Sam had helped me. I realized something else then. Everyone needs help sometimes. Everyone needs someone to believe in them. Just like Sam had believed in me, I could believe in others. I was no longer just focused on my own journey. I wanted to help lift others up too. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And through it all, I kept growing. My life was not perfect. I still had hard days. I still made mistakes. But everything was better. I was happier. I was stronger. I no longer looked at others with jealousy. I looked at them with understanding and respect. I saw their hard work. I saw their struggles, and I respected them, just as I had learned to respect myself. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And through it all, I kept growing. My life was not perfect. I still had hard days. I still made mistakes. But everything was better. I was happier. I was stronger. I no longer looked at others with jealousy. I looked at them with understanding and respect. I saw their hard work. I saw their struggles. And I respected them, just as I had learned to respect myself. One afternoon, Sam and I sat under a big tree near the school. The sun was warm on our faces. The breeze carried the smell of grass and flowers. It was peaceful. "You've changed," Sam said, looking at me with a smile. I nodded. "I've learned a lot," I said. "And it all started with you." Sam laughed and shook his head. "I didn't do anything," he said. But he was wrong. He had done something important. He had opened my eyes. He had shown me a different way to see the world. As I sat there under the tree, I thought about my journey. I had spent so many years feeling jealous, comparing myself to others, feeling not good enough. What a waste of time. Life was not a race. It was not about beating others. It was about growing. It was about learning. It was about becoming the best version of yourself. The only real competition was the person I had been yesterday. As time passed, I kept learning and growing. I no longer measured my success by looking at others. I measured it by looking at myself. I set small goals every day. Sometimes I reached them. Sometimes I failed. But every day was a new chance to improve. I understood now that progress was more important than perfection. It was okay to be slow as long as I was moving forward. At school, I noticed something new too. People started coming to me for help. They asked for advice about studying. They asked for tips about running faster. It felt strange at first. Me, the boy who had once felt like a failure. Now others looked up to me. It felt strange, but it also felt wonderful. I realized that true growth was not just about improving yourself. It was about helping others grow too. Sam and I stayed close. We supported each other through everything. When I failed, Sam was there to encourage me. When he struggled, I was there to lift him up. Before, I had envied his success. Now, I was inspired by it. He was not my competition. He was my teammate. And I knew he felt the same way about me. One day, as I was packing my bag after school, a young boy came up to me. He looked nervous, just like that first boy who had asked me for help in math. "I want to be fast like you," he said shyly, "but I don't think I can." I smiled warmly. I remembered when I used to think the same thing about Sam. I bent down so I was eye level with the boy and said, "You don't have to be fast today. You just have to be faster than you were yesterday." His eyes lit up with understanding. He smiled big and ran off to practice, his steps full of hope. That moment stayed with me. I had come so far. I had changed so much. And now I could help others do the same. Life was not about beating others. It was about beating your old self. It was about learning, growing, and lifting others up along the way. As I walked home that day, the sun setting behind me, I felt full of gratitude. I was grateful for my struggles. I was grateful for my journey. I was even grateful for the jealousy I had once felt, because it had led me here. I no longer wished to be someone else. I was happy just being myself. And for the first time in my life, that was more than enough.